Okay. I put some points for you to reflect on there in between the paragraphs, so maybe you can look at it afterwards by yourself. So just a reminder of the question. Some experts believe that it is better for children to begin learning a foreign language at primary school rather than secondary school. Do the advantages of this outweigh the disadvantages? Now, I think what you did is you looked at the subject here and you responded to, the background subject and not to the question specifically. Okay, so here you put, according to some experts or authorities, learning a foreign language at primary school is more preferable. When we have than, it means we're comparing, so we're going to say more preferable than secondary school. In my opinion, competency in foreign language in primary level compared to secondary school has more benefits as well.
Not sure. Seems like something missing.
Yeah. Anyway, I think there was something written there. I don't know what happened to it, but we have more. No, it wasn't more benefits. It wasn't more benefits. Let me find it. Let me find it. Oh, I saved it. Okay, no worries. We can find it. I just want to know what it is because you made a mistake there and I highlighted the word more just because there was something that I wanted to focus on.
No, I've got it. Yeah, secondary school has more merits than demerits.
Ah, okay, that's good. Okay, so let me write that. Okay. So, point to reflect on. Does the question ask you whether the advantages are more?
No, they ask like the advantages of this outweigh.
Okay.
So they clearly said the advantages is more. So it's outweigh the disadvantages or not.
Okay, so the question, when we say if the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, it doesn't mean in number. Okay, it doesn't specifically mean in number. It could be in significance. So which one is more significant, the advantages or the disadvantages? That's what we're looking at. We're not looking at which one is more in number. We're looking at the significance. So we need to make that clear. So we could just say outweigh. We could use the word eclipse, overshadow, many different synonyms that we can use for that. Just so that we don't, start counting which one is more. Okay, so we're looking at significance and not number here. All right, let's move on. Some people claim that adopting a foreign language in primary level has two negatives. The very first one is that children at an early stage are usually not mature enough when a child, not mature enough. When a child is matured enough, not mature. Okay, I'll leave it. He or she could handle a new language properly, which is possible in secondary school. Another point they often claim is that secondary level students usually get more skilled teachers compared to primary level. In many countries in the primary level, there are not enough skilled teachers for other languages, especially in South Asian countries. Okay. Now, here we have the point. Do you explain why children are not mature enough to study a foreign language? No. In the second body paragraph, you talk about how they learn quickly and how easy it is for them to learn. So it seems a little bit strange that the same point that you're mentioning as a disadvantage, you're mentioning it as an advantage here. So I found that kind of contradictory. So you don't explain how this is, and you don't really give an example to clarify this idea. Okay. Let's take a look. However, mastering a foreign language has logical and potential benefits in the early stages. Okay. Firstly, kids is informal, so try to avoid kids. Firstly, children can adopt and act new language quickly. I don't know what act is here. I'm not sure. Anyway, it is evident and scientifically proven that children can learn other languages easily and smartly in the adolescence period. In the early stage of life, they usually have less pressure from academic. Just 1 second. So this is a very open area and a very, open age from child into adulthood. So probably this is not just talking about primary school, because I'm sure this would also involve the secondary school as well. So I don't think the choice of word was that good. Okay, it's evident, scientifically proven that children can learn other languages easily and smartly in the adolescence period. In the early stage of life, they usually have less pressure. The early stage of life, do you think that secondary school isn't a part of that? It's just primary school? I think you have to choose your words more carefully. They usually have less. The
problem is that when I'm again and again I'm saying the primary school, then that's repetitive.
Yeah. I recommend using the same word. I think it's better to use the same word than to use a word that's wrong. It just gives the wrong meaning, because then we don't just mess with lexical resource. We mess with understanding, we mess with task achievement, we mess with coherence and cohesion, because someone's going to say, this guy's confusing me. Like, why is he talking about adolescence? He's talking about in the early stages. So if the person is confused, then this is automatically going to bring down your coherence and cohesion, because people cannot understand you coherently. It's not, easy to understand. It's not logical. So then we have problems with task achievement, because the opinion is lost, and we have coherence and cohesion, and we have lexical resource. So we have too many things that we could mess up if we repeat it, if we try to use words that we're not sure of, or words that don't have the precise meaning. So repetition is better. Repetition is better than that. I think maybe after you have finished, then what you can do is after you finish, what you can do is you can look at the vocabulary that you were stuck with, and you can use dictionaries and so on to try and find more suitable words. The problem isn't that you don't know words. The problem is you probably do know words, but when you're writing, you can't access them. Okay, so when you check up on words and things like that after you finish the task, what you'll do is you'll keep on connecting words together. And what will happen is when you think of this word, you think of the synonym for it, and so on. So we need to keep on reminding ourselves of synonyms for words. After you have practiced the exam, possibly you could do this, or you could do it as a vocabulary exercise. I think I made a video called Lexical Resource. I think maybe you could watch that. Yeah, it's this one here. Yeah. So this video here called Lexical Resource, and I talk about how you can practice your vocabulary and stuff like that. So there are things that you can do to improve your vocabulary. They might not be easy and they might take some hard work, but these are things that you can do in your own time, and over time you will definitely feel the difference in your definitely feel the difference in your ability to think of words. So in the early ages, they usually have less pressure from academic curriculum, which is more at secondary school, secondary level of school. Thus, in secondary school, in secondary level, they are already overburdened to get something new. I'm not sure to get something new. I didn't get that. To get something new. Do you mean to learn a new language or something?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so we just have to be a little bit clearer than that, because maybe someone might say to get something new. What do you mean? Okay. Moreover, speaking is one of the prime skills, maybe primary skills or something. Primary skills for any language, which is easier for kids. We have kids here. Avoid the word kids. To learn compared to those secondary school children. In the secondary school, not sure about the secondary school children period. I'm not sure about this phrase. Those secondary school children period. I think this phrase needs like kind of reorganizing or something. Not sure what there. Okay. So when children grow up in the secondary school level, at secondary school level, it usually takes more time to be fluent in other languages. Therefore, primary school is a better time to acquire a language other than one's mother tongue. Okay, so let's take some more. So first point, didn't you state that children aren't mature enough to learn? And here you're saying that they can learn quicker and they can learn easier. So I think that's proof that they are mature enough. Why didn't you explain why language is easier in primary school? Okay. Now, here what you put is you said people can learn quickly. And this is the first one. Okay. So they can learn quickly, possibly because they don't have any other, any other commitments and so on. Okay. In addition to that, it is easier. Okay. I think you need to explain why it is easier for kids. Okay. Here you say it takes them more time. So you're repeating the same point, that it's quicker. Here you're saying it's quicker, and here you're saying it takes more time, to be fluent at primary school level, at secondary school level. So I think you need to be careful how you present your ideas and support them. In conclusion, although some would argue that secondary school period is a good time to master other language. Other is followed by plural, other languages. You could say another, not other, possibly. I am convinced that primary school is the best period to learn other languages due to learning phonetics and the easy adaptable power of kids. Now, I don't think this point was explained anywhere in the essay, so this is just a new point that you have introduced in the conclusion here. Okay, so was the question asking which is better, or if the advantages outweighed, the disadvantages? Okay, so I think you need to be focused. I think this question is asking for which one is more significant and which one is less significant. A way of organizing this would be, in the first body paragraph, you present the weaker one, the one that you think is less significant, and you present two advantages or disadvantages, and then you comment on them and say why you believe that these disadvantages are not very important, not very significant, or why you believe that these advantages are not very significant. Because this will help you, this will help to justify your position and to make your position stronger. And then you do the same for the second body paragraph. You introduce the ones that you think is more significant, and you comment on at the end of the body paragraph as to why you believe that these points are more significant than the previous ones. Okay. Any questions, Ziad, about writing examples, or the essay, the outweigh essay, or anything before we bring today's lesson?
Yeah, this is fine. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Definitely now I really need to see some improvement. We still have 4 essays to go. We have 7, 8, 9, and 10. We have 4 essays to go. I need to see more focused supporting sentences. I need to see examples as well. That's very important. So hopefully we'll see some improvement within the next 4 essays. Okay.
Just one thing, like,
yes.
If I want to improve my collocations and vocabulary, topic-specific vocabulary, any suggestions?
Definitely a lot of reading per topic. A lot of reading for specific topics. So do a lot of, find the topics that you find yourself weak in, that you don't have ideas and you don't have vocabulary for, and work on them. What was it? It was this one. This is very, very good. This website, I just discovered it today, by the way. It's a website, and you can put any phrase, and it will give you all the examples in the newspapers. Okay, so for example, I put a bird in the hand, which is an English expression, and it gives me gave me all these examples, and it tells you an example. Chicken testing recipes from Diana blah blah blah. New A Bird in the Hand cookbook for review. A bird in the hand today is worth more than a bird in the hand tomorrow. It's buying a bird in the hand, and all of them are telling you Independent, Forbes, the New York Times, Forbes, and so on. So they're showing you example how these phrases and how these sentences can be used. So when you're finding all this vocabulary, you can type it in and see all the examples from the different newspapers of how this vocabulary was used. Another great resource to use is bbclearningenglish.com. They have a lot of series that deal with vocabulary, that teach vocabulary. They have 6-minute English. They have words in the news. They have the English we use, and they have so many programs which are free. You can download them. You can download the transcript. There's lots that you can do. I went through a lot of different techniques when I did the study guide one. I definitely recommend that you watch this study guide and learn all different techniques that you can learn vocabulary. I went over a few actually, so you should be able to find a number of exercises that you can do to improve your vocabulary. But to be honest, Ziad, these activities, they do take time, and they do, require some hard work and commitments on your part. You'll probably need to study a good 2 hours every day to make some good progress within like a month's time. I think it's very important that you put in that time, and one of the most important things that you're going to have to do if you want to study is to get all the materials that you need and to find a place where you can study without any distractions. Because I find students are very distracted these days, and they can't sit down for 1 hour or for 2 hours and study every day. They seem to be distracted by social media, Facebook, Instagram, telephones ringing, messages, all kinds of things. And really, to make like progress in like vocab and and grammar and so on, you need to sit down and isolate yourself and get the work in. There are lots of techniques. I talked about things in the 6.5 to 7 study plan. Also, I talked about some things, technique that's guaranteed to increase your mark for LR. I suggest that you take some of the techniques and you work on them every day. Any questions, Ziad, before I bring this lesson to an end? I have another lesson coming up, so I really need to bring this lesson to an end.
All good.
Okay, if you think of anything, put it in, write it and put it in the group. I'll post the document with the examples. Maybe you can go over it again and think of different examples and continue to practice. Okay, Ziad, that's it for today. I'll see you on Sunday. Good luck.